I'll tell you one thing, whether I'm closing or whether Jeremy comes, I know that I'm not worthy to close. I'm not worthy to stand up here before the close. I'm not worthy to have introduced yesterday. I'm not worthy to sing a song. And when I hear the brothers preach about things they gave up, Chris gave up a leather jacket and music and things like that. Brother Jeremy Crawley, I talk about, I hear those things and I think that's what you did. Yeah. You don't know what I gave up. I gave up horrible things. I'm ashamed to talk about the things that I gave up. How horrible I was. But that's okay. Now.
You had to give up your life, is what you had to give up.
And I'm so unworthy. I'm the least among everyone in this room. I'm the least among everyone. Because I'm still a sinner. But I'm a sinner saved by the grace of God.
That's right.
That's the difference here this morning. You know, Brother James Millen that was here last night, you know, I talked to him Thursday. At the school there, he teaches some courses that I'm taking for work. And I talked to him and he met Brother Jeremy, and he said that Jeremy had invited him out here Saturday. And I said, well, you should come. And he said, yeah. And he started talking about where it was at. And he said, it's a little storefront building. When he said storefront, that stuck in my mind because for all I know, the way this looks, this could have been a store at one time. Yeah. They sold things in here. And now, we're not selling anything, but there's a man, a merchant, who comes along every Sunday who's got something to give away for free that is worth more than anything that could have been sold here. Would have been sold here in this building. Let me tell you, I felt the Lord in a little storefront here this morning. I felt the Lord last night in a little storefront building. I felt the Lord in a gutted out doctor's office in Pilot Mountain. I felt the Lord in a little double wide up in the head of Cabin Fork. I felt the Lord in my house that was over here on Whitaker Chapel. A night when we baked bread in my own kitchen. I felt the Lord there. You know, I can remember growing up and going everywhere with my grandfather. You know, and it's hard for me to say grandfather in front of everyone because my whole life I've called him Dad. And I would go with Dad everywhere that he went. And I can remember one time we was at a sister's house and I was out playing with the kids when I came inside and I seen my dad on his knees and I seen women all around him crying. And when we got in his truck, I said, why do you do these things? Why do you go visit people and make them cry? That's awful mean of you to do. One day, son, you're going to understand. And you know, I was talking last night with Larry. I can remember when I was younger, my grandmother, I stayed with them the majority of my childhood. And I can remember when we would lay down at night, I would sleep next to her because my grandfather was off working. And you know, when she would pray, she would put her hands on her chest laying there and she would pray, and I would close my eyes and go along with it. And I can remember the morning that I got a phone call. Listen, I was out of my mind. Couldn't have told you my own name, but I got a phone call and I picked up that phone after it had rung so many times and I'd ignored it. I picked it up and they said, Shad, Mommy's dead. And I looked at the caller ID and that number was coming from my great-grandmother's house. And she was up in age and I didn't know her all too well. And when I looked at that caller ID and I realized what they'd said, I said, well, my great-grandmother is gone on. And you know, the family's going to be a little upset. But then all those senses started coming back to me and I recognized that voice. And that wasn't the voice of one of her sons or daughters. And I said, who is this? And they said, it was my aunt on the other line. And you talk about being sober. Anything that was in me, it didn't have effect anymore. And the world got a hold of me. And I jumped out of bed and I got my clothes on and I drove straight there. I still couldn't believe what I'd heard. And I walked in that room and the funeral home was about to take my grandmother out. And they said, "Do you want to see her before we take her out?" And I didn't know what to say, but I said, "Sure." I hadn't sat in, not a tear had been shed. And I walked back in that room and there she laid. By the way, I never told this before. She was laying there on her back with her hands just right here. Oh, death, where is thy sting?
That's right.
Oh, grave, where is your victory? You listen to me now. I think about that. What she must have said before she left this world. You see, it's just another one of those things. My whole life she had been leaving little breadcrumbs for me all over the place. I can remember a time when all the time I would go in her room, she had this great big jewelry box, and on top of it said a little piece of paper like this, and it was always propped up, and my grandmother and grandfather there, they're the one that named me, and up on this jewelry box said a paper that said Shadrach, and underneath Shadrach it had a little definition, and it said, "He who has most faith," and I never really thought about it a whole lot. I just knew that I was the kid that had the name that nobody could pronounce. I was the kid that called his papa dad, and people would always say, "No, that's your papa." "No, that's my dad." I didn't understand. I didn't understand my name. I didn't understand nothing about this. But you know, one day I decided I'm going to find out who Shadrach is. And I started reading a little bit, and I got to know the story of a boy, three little Hebrews. Here you see who wouldn't fall subject to worship this world. You see old King Nebuchadnezzar here. He had this great big golden image put up, and you know, when the music was the sound, you were to fall down and worship it there. But you know, these three Hebrew boys, they would not, because that was not their God. And oh, how it got on Nebuchadnezzar's nerves there, no doubt. Brought before them and told them, asked them there why they didn't do it, and asked them even if their Lord would deliver them from that fiery furnace that he was threatening them with there. And they said, "Hey, you know, it doesn't matter if he does or he is able to deliver us." And you know, they were bound there. They bound them up and was going to throw them into that furnace, turn that furnace up higher than it normally was. It's so hot that it killed the very men that go throw them in there. And you know, they threw them into there. And you know, it made me think about last night. I walked into a building here that was almost 90 degrees. But you know what? You can imagine how Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego was there. Because when Nebuchadnezzar looked in that fire, he did not see three. Did we not throw three into there? No, there was four. And one was the image there of the Son of God. You know, I walked through here last night. I walked in and immediately I started sweating. And it seemed like it was getting hotter. And we live in a world when somebody could have been having a meeting in here, and what would they have done? They'd have probably said, "Let's take this outside," or "Let's go down here to a little restaurant and do this." No, we sat right here. And you know, how many people did we have here last night? We could have had 20. That's what this world would have said. But when I sat in here, I seen 21. There was somebody else walking around inside of here with us. And that's the way that my Lord works.
Yeah, it is.
That is the way that He works here. I am the least among my brothers. You know, Met James there. I preached about him before.
Yeah.
Preached about his story, and I was hoping he would tell it last night.
Yeah.
And you know, when I first met him, his wife was dying. He's been obviously remarried since. But when I first met him there, not too long ago, his wife was dying. We always sat and we talked about church, and then there one day he didn't show up for class. He didn't show up for the next class or the next one or the one after that, and it kind of set in on me. I knew what had happened because his wife she was in stage 4 cancer. And then I listened at a prayer list here, stage 4, cancer spreading all over this world.
Good Lord.
And how it hurts me so. And you know, I'll tell this, and then I'll let Jeremy come, and you can do whatever you want to do.
That's right.
But when I think of these illnesses, and I think about our children having surgery coming up,
Good Lord.
I think about what I'm leaving for my children and stuff like that. When somebody were to ask me, what are you leaving for your children? I don't have many material things. Sure,
No.
my company's taking out a life insurance policy. I mean, I'm probably worth more monetarily dead than I am alive. And that's just the truth. But when I leave this world, I'm leaving behind a wife who believes in God. That's what I'm leaving for my children. I'm leaving behind two little brothers here from a church in Florida. I'm leaving behind 2 brother-in-laws and a father-in-law that preach the Word of God. That's what I'm leaving for my children. I'm leaving on this little storefront that's worth more than anything else that I could leave. But you know, I was reading this story, and you know, one of the brothers last night was talking about intravenously is how you get the Lord. You know, in the blood, inside is where you get the Lord. And I started thinking about that little story that I read not too long ago about a woman. It just shows this picture, and you have to actually read the article to learn a little bit about it. It shows a woman down on her knees with a little stethoscope on a little kid's chest. She's a white woman, and there's a little black girl, and she's got this stethoscope on her chest and just crying. And I started reading the article, and at 7 months, her little baby, it could have happened to us, but it didn't. The Lord spares. But her little baby had left this world, and you had the organs donated to maybe save somebody else's life. And the little girl that she had that stethoscope up to was the recipient of the heart of her 7-month-old little child. You know what's it makes me think of when I leave this world, my Lord, He's going to listen to my heart, but He's not going to be looking. It's not about the heart that's inside of me that's going to speak to Him, but there's blood that's going to be running through my veins. That every time my heart pumps, it's going to cry out to Him, and I'm going to be accepted into the kingdom of heaven. You see, you think it was hot last night. For those who don't have my Lord, things are only going to get a little hotter. But you know, you talk about the life insurance that I've got when I leave this world. People want to get prepared. When your house burns down, Brother Brandon, you know a little bit about that. You got to have the fire insurance. You got to have that policy. I've got the greatest fire insurance that there's ever been. I've got the greatest health insurance that there has ever been. I've got a mansion.
Amen.
Beyond this world.
I didn't do it.
I didn't do a thing for it.
No.
Not in my mind. I laid my life down. And at the time, it was the hardest thing I think I've ever done.
Yep.
But as my life goes on as a Christian, that might have been the easiest. I don't know. Brother Jeremy, you come on.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, you brothers get your song, Brandon, Tiffany, sisters too.
Brandon.
Only as I was thinking. I'm going to announce that the church doors are open, but That doesn't mean they wasn't open before I said a single word. These doors have been open for a long time. A little over 2,000 years, these doors have been open. And my Lord, and let me tell you, church, today, He's coming back for it. He made that promise, and that's what I believe. You see, I can think about everything that's wrong in my life, and I can't blame God for a single thing. Everything that I've done to myself is self-inflicted.